Thank you for tuning in. I just want to first explain why we're doing this. Obviously, it's important to communicate right now. Not only do we need to give you all the information that we can about what your government is doing in this time, but we need to hear from you. So I hope that if you're on Facebook, we're watching your comments as they come in and questions, and we've also gotten some email questions in advance. So let's get this started. The current situation globally is numbers are continuing to rise as expected. 276,000 positives and 11,399 as of last night deaths globally. In the U.S., 263 deaths, 19,643 positive cases. In the state, 149 positive cases as of last night. And we had our second death of a Baltimore County man. The first was a Prince George's County man in the state of Maryland. And our hearts go out to their families. In the county, we have 15 if you count the part-time resident positive cases, and fortunately have not yet had our first fatality. The point is that this is serious, and the infection rate is estimated in most countries. They're projecting that it'd get up over 50% of the population, and this is a virus with a death rate projected to be in the 2 to 3% range. So you can do your own math on that, but in a county of 600,000 people, we're talking about some major stress on our healthcare system. And that's the reason why we're doing all of this work to what they say, flatten the curve, to slow the growth, slow down the process so that our healthcare system can handle the people who are coming in and who are sick. So government exists to protect the people it serves. We pay our taxes, and we expect government to deliver at times like this. And I do want to say that we have some good things to report on that front. And I'm very glad that I have with me Congressman Brown and Senator Elfreth, because they've been working at the state and federal levels, and it's been heartening to see how elected officials have put their politics aside and addressed the issues that we're facing. So I also want to say that I have a daily telephone call with the 7 county executives that are in central Maryland. They call us the Big Seven. It's about 75% of the population of the state and over 90% of the positive cases in the state. And we talk every day about what each of us are doing, and we communicate with the governor's team based on those calls. Our former county executive, Steve Shue, has been assigned by Governor Hogan to be the liaison with the counties on this. And so it's good to have somebody who's been in our shoes working together with us on this. In Anne Arundel County, government is doing good things, but I don't want to sugarcoat what's actually happening in our communities. I've spent most of the week listening, and it's very clear to me that people are hurting already. As is the case with every economic hit to the American economy, it's the hourly workers who barely make enough to pay their bills who get hit the hardest, and this is no different. Restaurants and hotels are already laying people off. Some of those businesses are hanging in there, marketing and serving carry-out meals. I had a fantastic dinner last night from Chad's Barbecue in Edgewater. And I probably shouldn't tell you this, but it did come with a bottle of Jack Daniels and some very good whiskey sour mix. So please support these local businesses. They need us, and their employees need us. Unemployment claims are already spiking in our county. We had 1,851 last week, and we expect that number to increase quickly. Senator Elfreth will talk about some of the good work that's been done at the state level to make it easier to get those claims approved. Parents, particularly single parents who are self-employed or who work hourly with no benefits, are losing income already, staying home with their kids. So bills won't get paid, debt will grow, and this is likely to become the greatest economic challenge of our generation. But still, we must and we will focus on what matters, which is our health, our family's health, our neighbor's health. And for county government, there is a good story to tell about the work that's being done and the response. So this week, we opened up our Emergency Operations Center, which is where I am right now in Glen Burnie. Partial activation overseen by Chief Tim Michaels and Deputy Director Preeti Emmerich. In order to make sure that the work that comes out of the Emergency Operations Center is completely coordinated with everything that we're doing in county government, I've assigned our Deputy CAO, Matt Power, to coordinate the efforts here on our behalf, and our Deputy CAO, Kay Bodgester Brown, who always works with the Health and Human Service agencies, is going to be working with him to coordinate the response to help the most vulnerable populations of our county, the people, and how they're actually being affected. The EOC is open 7 days a week, and the phone number here is 410-222-0600. And the email here is eoc@aacounty.org. So here in the EOC, we have what we call the Joint Information Center as well. It's the public information officers from the agencies that have been activated, overseen by our PIO, Roz Hamlet, who's moderating this event today. We have a phone bank here at the EOC. Initially, all calls were going to the health department, but a lot of the questions that were being raised were things that other agencies besides the health department do. So you can still call that number, but if you call the EOC number, you'll also be sent to the health department if it's a health question. We have our community engagement and constituent service staff from the county executive's office helping to man those phones, as well as staff from all the agencies of the county taking shifts to answer those calls. We're at about 300 calls a day right now, and we expect that number to increase rapidly. So my whole staff in the county executive's office has new jobs. The new job descriptions, we're fully integrating with the EOC, which is essential. We meet daily, and most of us are working remotely with a few exceptions. The EOC has established a logistical staging area for supplies and equipment and has received its first allotment already from the Strategic National Stockpile this week. Private donations, of which we have had some wonderful donations, you can make through the EOC at the number 222-0600. I want to especially thank Pasadena Boat Works for the 14,095 face masks that they donated this week. Thank you, both Nick and Rick. And also Weaver Boat Works in Deal has donated 1,000 boxes of gloves and 10,095 masks. So thank you, Ashley and Jim and the whole Weaver family in South County. If you would like to donate, you can donate financially to a new fund that's been created through the Community Foundation of Anne Arundel County. You can access that through the county website or at cfaac.org. On the issue of testing, I know there's going to be a lot of discussion about this, and I'm going to leave that to Dr. Kalya Naraman, our health officer, who's going to speak after me. But some of the other agencies and the work that they're doing are worth noting. In the transportation department, we are operating fare-free for public transit, but the governor has discouraged people from using public transit except for essential trips. We obviously don't want large numbers of people on the buses. The Rec and Parks Department has waived fees in our parks and kept them open, but they have closed playgrounds now, and all the buildings are closed in the parks. And of course, the recreation programs and child care services through the Rec and Parks Department have been suspended. But we are working to get child care organized for essential employees this coming week. We're going to get that started. In economic development, the team there is checking in with local businesses on a regular basis, taking calls, hearing about people's needs and concerns. We did get designated by the federal government to do the SBA emergency loans, and they're going to be at economic development taking those applications and helping guide people through that process. In central services, our team there is on the phone 6-8 hours a day calling vendors, trying to get supplies. One real positive note from there is an agreement with the Gray Wolf Distillery on the Eastern Shore, owned by an Anne Arundel County resident, to provide 130 gallons a week, we expect, of hand sanitizer in 1 ounce and gallon bottles. And those are going to be brought here to the EOC and distributed as needed. The police department is on the street, watching what's going on, hearing firsthand on the front lines how people are responding. And how the story that I'm hearing is that for the most part, people are doing the social distancing that they've been asked to do, and gatherings of 10 or more people are not happening in most cases. When they do see them, however, they intervene and they ask people to disperse. I do want to note that there have been some examples where people did not want to disperse. Sawmill Park basketball court, both last night and the night before, were challenging situations for the police. They ended up turning off the lights there last night when people would not disperse. But we don't want to be in a situation where we're putting people in our jails because they are refusing to comply with the order to limit gatherings to 10 people or less. Our fire department is on the front lines. Most of their calls are always EMS calls. So they're out there. Their staffing is absolutely essential. So we're trying to protect those employees. They're at the highest risk as they serve our front lines in our homes often as health professionals and get people to the hospital when they need to be brought there. Our law offices, they worked on our emergency declaration, which was extended yesterday by our county council. There's work on executive orders to get rid of the red tape, cut through the red tape so that we can act quickly to get things done in county government. In the personnel department, we're taking care of our people the best we can. We're providing administrative leave for folks who can't work. We're loosening some of those requirements, but if you're an county employee, you've received messages about this already. You need to work with your supervisors to figure out whether you're going to be working at home and what your situation is going to be. But we're going to cover everybody financially for the time that they're not able to work. Our schools have done a great job of getting the 52 sites that they opened. I think we were quicker than any other county in the state in terms of the numbers of school meal sites. 52, and then they announced another 9 yesterday. There are parts of the county that we feel are not as well served by that, and we're looking for additional sites right now, working with the school system on that. Our libraries are doing digital loans still, so you can go to the Anne Arundel County Library's website and borrow digital books and tapes and all sorts of things there. And there are also online activities there for kids. Aging and disabilities has been nothing short of heroic. I think that's one of the reasons that I'm wearing their fleece today. They're making phone calls to every senior in Anne Arundel County that they know of that uses their services every week and asking how they're doing. And some they're calling daily when they request it. They're also providing meals to seniors where they can come pick them up at the senior centers. Obviously, our social service department is got a lot of work just signing people up for benefits, but they've also been working with our homeless shelters, going in and helping them figure out how to do the distancing that they need to do, moving some of the residents out and into hotels, as also locating sites for isolation and quarantine, working with the rest of our staff. Our mental health agency crisis response teams are continuing to be engaged. Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families is working with churches and nonprofits to address the gaps in services, and also working with our team to identify a way to get emergency county funds out where needs are not being met. Inspections and permits is still doing inspections for construction sites. They're not doing in-home inspections right now. Plan and zoning is continuing to do their work, limiting community meetings. The general development plan that we've been working on is likely to be delayed as a part of this project, as a part of this crisis, because it requires public input that isn't possible right now. And then in public works, our heroes are continuing to keep our water and wastewater treatment facilities going, keeping our roads clear, and then finally, our budget office. This is budget season, and we are attempting to keep up. We've slowed our schedule a little bit on reviewing budget proposals from every department, but they are constantly looking at the projections. There's no question in anybody's mind that revenues are going to be decreasing in the coming year as people take this economic hit. So they are helping us figure out where we're going to stand in terms of our budget for next year as we do this. Finally, I want to remind people that it's census time. And when this is all over, we will need the federal government to have an accurate count of our population. And that is something that you can do. Watch for your census code in the mail and respond right away, either online, by phone, or by mail. The resources that we get from the federal government in the future will depend on a complete count of Anne Arundel County residents. So I want to personally thank every Anne Arundel County public servant. People are relying on you, and everywhere I look, I see you eagerly stepping up to serve the people of this county, whether it's part of your job or not. So thank you for that. And for the rest of you, the uncertainty of this moment naturally creates anxiety. That's how our brains are wired. So please put that anxiety to work. Help how you can. Be vigilant about social distancing. Protect your family and neighbors, but also take care of yourself. Breathe. Allow yourself to find pleasure where you can. Watch the trees bloom. Read some good books. Talk to people. And most importantly, listen to people. We're all in this together, everywhere in the world, and we will learn from this, and we will recover together. Thank you.